no Eric and no Jesper today for maintenance days. Do you have a prognosis on how they are, or is it just strictly right now resting guys?
Yeah, just maintenance right now. We'll see where everybody's at tomorrow.
What is the challenge? What is the bar of what your team is about to experience tomorrow against the Boston Bruins?
Well, they've been the best team in the league all year long. The best, the most consistent team. So we know we're up against a tough match. We played them tough the 2 times we played them here. We just didn't find a way to pull through and win the hockey game.
What is the most impressive thing about what Boston has been able to do this year?
Well, to be that consistent, to never really have a segment of games where you kind of fall off, which even if you have a good year, there's usually a period of time that you might struggle. But I think they've been, the whole year, just remained that consistent. They've been getting tremendous goaltending from both guys. So all areas of their game are going well.
Recently, we've seen a little bit more, physicality from this Devils team. How can the fourth line, who was really strong a couple games ago, keep jump sparking that for the rest of the team?
Well, everybody has to bring something, and I think that you look at a fourth line. Sometimes you're looking at penalty killing. Sometimes you're looking at energy. You're looking at physicality. You're looking at a line to set the momentum or set the tone for maybe a shift. Maybe you've been scored against, and you want that line to go out there. So, getting in there, making it really tough on the opposition to get out of their zone, getting on the body, creating energy. It's something that's important to our club.
As you see how well the team has done in the past 2 games, how do you keep them staying even, not too high, not too low?
Again, just talking about the next game. We didn't spend much time. We didn't spend any time on last night's game, knowing that the next opponent's going to be a tough one.
What did you focus on in practice today?
Just skating and passing. Just try to keep the hands going. We weren't out there a long time. We know we've played a lot of games. We're in a stretch of, I think this will be 5 and 8. So you look at it, we didn't need to do a lot, and I think we've done a pretty good job of trying to conserve energy with our club. Tomorrow we should be ready to go.
When Dougie comes into the offensive zone, how much is by design and how much is his feel in terms of just positioning and just kind of finishing some of those plays?
I think it's probably half and half. We have concepts we like to adhere to, but at the same time, a guy like Dougie can sense a hole, can jump into empty spots. That's just instinct. I think he senses an opportunity. He senses where maybe somebody doesn't have an eye on him. So a lot of that is just what's ever put in front of him, he deals with.
Just your conversations with him over the last 2 years, from what you knew about him before to see him fully flourish in a year like this?
Well, I think you understand what type of player, you understand what his strengths are, you understand where you'd like to get him to in certain areas. I think that he understands how we want to play, what we expect out of him. I think the offensive side is something that really is a God-given talent that he has. Great shot. He's a big body. He can be physical when he wants to be. It's trying to improve, plays away from the puck, rush plays, making sure we're taking time and space away. Just trying to be an all-around player.
Is it a unique calculus that you use with him because he is such a, whatever you want to call it, unicorn or
I think every player has their attributes. Dougie has says you can't. I don't think you can put everybody in the same box, and you can't expect everything out of everybody. What Dougie brings is a real talent. You either utilize that to its full potential, or you move on to something else. We're trying to utilize that to his strengths, and I think his strengths have really shown this year.
Thank you, Lindy. What sort of goes through your head when you think about a milestone like that?
And especially to do it back in my home state where I grew up playing. I watched the Bruins a lot as a kid, and to play my 400th game against them, it's kind of weird. It's crazy how the timing of the whole thing matched up perfectly, I guess. But yeah, it's been a long road to get here. 27 years of playing hockey. Just accomplishing my dream. Can't thank my family enough, and friends, and all the support and the coaches. But yeah, it's been fun.
What's the biggest difference of Miles when he first entered the league versus 400 games later?
I'm probably a little more calm. When I first came here, I think my name was Reckless Abandon or something like that, where I would just skate at 1,000 miles an hour and not really have control of what was going on. So I think those days are long gone, and I'm a little more calm out there on the ice.
What type, talking about the actual game itself, what type of test does this present everyone? Obviously, last night was a great big win, but now you're talking about the best of the best in the league at the very end of the season and matching up towards them. Is this a bar that you guys have to reach?
Yeah, it certainly is. Like you said, they are the best team in the league. They clinched the President Trophy with 10 games left in the season or something like that. They're an outstanding team. They're a deep team. Their goalie's playing great. They're a well-coached team, and tomorrow will be a huge test for us heading into the playoffs.
Do you use it as a bar for all of you, or how do you sort of match up against them but not get too much in your head about needing to, I guess?
I think each game you play is a bar to a certain extent. Being so late in the year with 3 games left, playing against a legit cup contender team, our bar, it's going to be a great test, and a standard will be set, and we're going to have to play our best game to beat them.
Thanks, Woody.
Sorry. When you look at the physicality that's needed in the playoffs, we started to see some glimpses of it in the past few games. How can the fourth line really help drive more of that over the next stretch?
I think that certainly is our role. If you look at our top 9 guys, they have a lot of skill, but that's where we step in and try to do our best to ramp up, the hitting, the compete on pucks and stuff like that. But yeah, I think we're going to play a big role in tomorrow night's game, and they're a big team, they're a fast team, and they play hard.
Woody, it was such a fast experience the last time you guys played in the playoffs, but do you remember the emotion, the intensity being different? Can you draw on such a short experience like that?
Yeah, I think the mistakes get magnified.
Yeah.
Because if you turn the puck over and they go down and score, that's huge. And, you're only promised 4 or so games. And, I think that's the big thing. We have such a veteran group now that, we're going to lean on a bunch of these guys when it comes down to the playoffs. But I think that's the one thing that has to be clear, is that we can't turn the puck over. We can't do the small things wrong, or else it's going to cost us.
Thanks, Woody. Nico, we've talked about, matching bars throughout the whole season. How much does, facing Boston, what they've accomplished this year, set a bar for you guys tomorrow?
Exciting game for sure. It's Saturday night, so it should be a fun game to be part of for sure. And we obviously try to play our best hockey and beat them, so that's the goal.
What has been the most impressive thing for what they've accomplished this year?
Yeah, just look how many wins. I think that's pretty impressive. They have obviously a really stacked team, and you got to play your best to beat them.
And what are some of those things that you sort of feel are the things that you guys can get in their way of?
I think with our speed, and that's probably the main thing.
You look at the physicality that's needed to compete in the playoffs. How have you seen your group really start to develop that in the last stretch of games?
But yeah, we know the game's going to get harder, and in the playoffs there are going to be more hits, and I think everybody knows them himself, so just everybody got to prepare himself for that.
Lindy's talked about a lot of players having career years and a lot of great accomplishments, but how does that really just keep elevating the group throughout the whole season to see so many players doing so well individually as a group and as a group?
Well, if individually everybody has a good year, then automatically the whole team will have a better year. So that's just how it goes.
But does that give a lift? Does that bring more energy? Is there any?
For sure. I mean, you win games. That's the goal. Personally, for me, it's just more winning games and where we at as a team. And and that definitely helps.
When you look at the upcoming playoffs, a lot of times we hear from players that you need to have another dimension added to your game in order to compete. As you see this Devils team in these final few games, what else can you start working on adding to this Devils group?
Yeah, I mean it's more about creating habits and the details in the game. You know, last game was pretty good, and but big test for us tomorrow against Boston. You know, they're the best team in the NHL right now, so it's going to be great.
Before we get to Boston, what are some of those details that you need to establish?
I mean, it's everything. It's breaking out from our zone. Don't do turnovers. Details on losing face-offs play. So it's everything in every situation. So it's a lot.
How about inserting more physicality into the Devils?
Yeah, I mean, playoffs is going to be way more physical than it's going to be way more hits. But we have 3 games left, so I'm not sure if it's going to be crazy battle or we'll see. Boston is in a playoff position too, so we'll see. But we're going to play hard.
Speaking of Boston, really great season for them. What's some of their biggest strengths that you all will hone in on?
Thank you. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
Thank you.
What's some of the biggest strengths you all need to hone in on when it comes to Boston Bruins team?
Our biggest strength?
Theirs or yours. What can really work?
I mean, they're a great team, so they have great players, and we're just trying to match their team and make sure we can play with them and win the game and get ready for playoffs.
They were really tight games the last 2 times you did play. What were some of the things you observed in that?
Yeah, of course, when you play a good team, we try and play our best, and we just, like I said, they're the top team in the league, and we try to beat them, obviously, and feel good about our game before heading to playoffs.